Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I should really say hello to the girls because this video is going to be a chit chat. Get ready with me because I'm actually going on a first date, which is like, it's been a while, and I figured I would just do a Q&A as I get ready because why not? And I feel like a lot of you guys have questions for me in regards to your own dating life and my opinion on certain things. So I did a Q&A on Instagram, which if you're not following, go follow Alicia Gogan. And I'm just gonna read out some of these questions as we get ready. I just came out of the shower, obviously. I got my head towel on as per usual. And I'm just doing a little bit of skincare before we get into the makeup. So let's start with the first question. Someone said, how can you be comfortable letting someone go after you've grown apart and dealing with being alone? I think naturally there's always going to be feelings that you're going to feel when you're slowly, clearly not working out with somebody and maybe moving into a time of being single or even like going out and dating again. So always just allowing space for that. I think that I talk about that a lot on my podcast about just like embracing the more lower emotions, negative or just like sad emotions and like mourn that loss or whatever. Like I just don't feel like we need to always, you know, feel one way. Like you're supposed to feel happy, you're supposed to feel fully confident, you're supposed to feel like 100% in it. I think that you are just a dynamic human being. So you're gonna sometimes like feel alone or you're gonna feel like, ooh, I don't know, I don't wanna let this person go, this, that. So I honestly think time will always be your best friend. But I do like to kind of think about what I want, whether that is in my single life period or moving into a new dating scene. Like, how do I want to experience this new phase of my life? Like, get excited, whether it is, like I said, you're in your single era, maybe you're going to the gym, you're taking care of yourself, you have so much time probably back that you put into that past relationship that probably wasn't serving you mentally, physically, like emotionally. Like, I have been through those long periods of time where like mentally, like you don't realize it until you're out that holy shit, I was putting so much time and attention and energy on this person or this thing trying to make it work. So reclaiming your energy is so good. It like it literally makes you feel on top of the world, especially when you have your own thing going and your own life going. But also just thinking about, you know, okay, what are the qualities that I want to look for in a person moving forward? Get excited about the treatment and the things that you will get that you most likely did not get from a past relationship. Now, of course, we don't always want to blame the other person. We always take part in some situation for not really working out, even if it's as simple as you just didn't have boundaries and you're a people pleaser. Like you didn't maybe do anything wrong morally to somebody, but like at the end of the day you were letting somebody, you know, show up giving you the bare minimum, things like that. So just really getting clear on what you would like to have in your new relationship moving forward, and that can be very exciting. Like I think we forget how good relationships can be. We forget how amazing a person can treat us when we have been so used to getting the bare minimum. So just get excited. Someone said, how long is it worth it to stay by my partner if his mental health issues are affecting me too? I think you know the answer. And everyone's situation is so situational, so I can only give you like, you know, general advice. But you know what? I'm just thinking about a quote that I posted on my Instagram last night, and I think that this is gonna hit home for a lot of you, okay? Let me read it. It says, repeat after me. If it doesn't positively serve my mental health, then it is shifting me into mental illness, and that's a risk I am no longer willing to take. And then I put my little commentary and I said, 4 months left of the year and you're telling me you're not tired of being mentally ill yet, girl? Please. Now, obviously, I'm sure you have love for this person, and it's not to bag on the person who's dealing with their own mental health issues, but if it's affecting you, you need to protect yourself. You do. You need to remove yourself from a situation that's not serving you. Maybe it's for a little bit. You want to give them space, have a conversation with them and communicate, you know, it's no longer serving you. But I just think that in general, this is how I usually think when it comes to like situations, whether it's situationships, toxic relationships, being in the same cycle or the same treatment, okay? You're not really gonna get a new result from people, places, and things when you keep showing up in that same position the same way, accepting the same thing, having the same arguments, waiting for that person to change, but they're not changing. Like, something needs to change. Some type of dynamic needs to change in order for the entire dynamic to shift. You want to become the version of you who has what they want. So if you want better relationships, you want more commitment, you want better treatment, you want a healthy relationship, you need to show up as that person. And the healthy version of you, would they be staying in a situation where they're not getting treated well, or, you know, that person is really affecting your mental health, or you're getting the bare minimum? The answer is no, and you really do kind of know what to do. So that's what I'll say on that. Okay, next question. And if you are not new, you're probably like, oh my gosh, you're getting ready in your podcast studio? We did a nice vanity revamp, which you guys will see in an upcoming video. This is probably gonna come out first, but I'm very happy to be back in here doing my makeup. Also, I'm using this Grown Alchemist Skin Defense Primer. I just put it like right in my T-zone like a little bit, because like I don't really do my makeup like too well. Like I don't know. I don't even know what it's called, like baking and all that kind of stuff. I just put foundation on and blush and then like my eye stuff. So I don't know, that just helps with like things looking oily. Not like it really matters. Okay, this is a good question and this might take me a while to answer, but I will try my best. So someone asked how to find a high value man while being a single mom and what to be careful about. And I can think in general terms how to find a high value man. I think most people will ask that question. And oh my gosh, I could go so many ways with this. I think for one, let's just do a disclaimer. I am going on a first date, so I'm not in a relationship right now. I have dated many different types of men and I've learned many different types of things. But am I married to a high value man right now? No, I'm not. So you can take my advice for what you will, but I'll give you some advice based off of what I have learned. Firstly, dating a high value man or finding a high value man is just like not what most people think they are. I feel like on social media, there's just the one ideal of what a high value man like looks like. He's like this hot businessman who has like 6 figures plus at least like starting salary, and like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people have it twisted. And it's honestly also not to say that those things are not important, but there's a few things that I have found important that I feel like I wasn't raised on looking for within a man because my father wasn't really like that, and I missed. And instead I fell to the looking for the material things like, oh, is he really hot, or does he have this insane job? Again, those might be important to you. That's fine if they are, but there's so many other aspects. So there's a few things. For one, I think a high value man is sure of you. He's sure of you, okay? Like, sometimes we just forget that like there's really men out there who are sure, and I feel like that's a great trait, because when a man is sure of you and sure that he wants to be with you, and he's like very open to saying like, I want a relationship, I'm looking for a relationship, that's a good indicator that he is a high value man, just because in his life, he's looking at his life and saying, okay, I'm ready to take this woman on. I want this woman to be a part of my life. And I feel like men who are not sure, it's not to say that they're bad men or that they're not necessarily like high value and they're not great men, but they're just not ready. Okay, for whatever reason, whether it's they're not sure about you, or if they don't want to take you into their lives because maybe their own like job or their own life, their own stress, that's fine. We don't need to judge. We don't need to like go all like, I don't know, like super toxic about it. But at the end of the day, a great trait to know is like, is this man sure? Okay, is he sure of you, and is he being persistent and wanting to see you and wanting to move things forward? That's really another trait, is like, is he wanting to move things forward? I've dated men in the past where, yeah, I'm sure he liked me and whatever, but like he wasn't really moving things forward. And I feel like a man who's sure of you will move things forward. He will ask you on dates. He will message you. He will ask you to be a part of his life, essentially. Another thing that is good to like find out, I guess, about a man is how he feels within his career and if he has a career. And, you know, I want to be careful with like, I'm not some girl that's like, oh, he needs to have X amount of money and like whatever, but I have dated men who were not financially stable. I've dated men who didn't really know what they're doing with their careers, or they weren't happy with their careers, and it did affect the relationship. Even though they really tried hard to not let that affect it, at the end of the day, my personal experience has been, it just ends up usually affecting the relationship because they're either like insecure about themselves, or you know, maybe they can't provide a certain lifestyle for you if that's what you want. Like, there's just so many ways that someone not being happy within their job or their success or don't know what they're doing with their life can affect their relationship. Especially I find with men. Is it always all men? No, there's some men who are very confident with what they're making and what they're doing, even if they're on grind mode, if they're in school, whatever, that's great. If you want to be in that relationship, that is fine. But if it's not working for you, then, you know, that's just not gonna be for you. But I do find high value men, they kind of they're sure about themselves and their lives and where they're going, and they have a plan. Another thing is his social network and group. And honestly, let me just stop even saying network, because I feel like that's already going in the category of like, you know, the talks of high value men. Does he have a good set of friends? Like, please, okay? I have found that that is a great correlation, like him having like good solid friendships and like being a good man. I find I've dated people who they didn't really have like a community or friendship or anything like that, and I found that, you know, it definitely affected sometimes in our relationship the way they either showed up or, you know, where they were at in their lives. Does this mean somebody who doesn't have a lot of friends or is trying to make their way in their lives aren't a high value person, aren't worthy of love, aren't worthy of XYZ? No, there's always exceptions, but I look for a man who, you know, has created and built relationships. And I think that men who have a lot of friends, not a lot of friends actually, it doesn't really matter, right? But like they have a solid group of friends. It's kind of like a track record, right? It's like you have been friends with these people basically all your life, so you know how to sustain a relationship. You know what it means to be in relation to other people. You know how to take people in consideration, which is obviously really good. So I always think, you know, like look around him and his circle and his friends, and it'll tell you a lot about him, honestly. Okay, sorry, I just needed to gel my hair back because I'm doing a slick back bun. I was gonna do my natural hair, but I started to realize that my natural hair, when it's out, it gives me sensory overload, which is really sad because I really like the way my natural hair looks, but there's some situations when I'm going out that I just like can't be bothered with the job of my natural hair in the nicest way, because I feel bad to like talk about my hair like that, because it's beautiful and I should love it, and I do love it, but sometimes it's like it really is sensory overload. Anyways, I went in with Ilia foundation. I always use this foundation. It is my favorite, and I'm going with Say Beauty liquid blush, which I at one point was shading, but now I absolutely love it, and I'll have all these linked down below if you want. To finish up the high value man thing, especially because you had asked about being a single mom, but I think that in general this is pretty good advice, and this is what I've started to learn in my late 20s. I am turning 29 in November. Thinking about the man that you're going to date, will he be a good father? Will he be a good husband? Really think about that, okay? And this is something that took me a long time to even like be aware of. Honestly, I think it's because I didn't even recognize like good traits of a man that would be a good father or a good husband, because my father wasn't the best. Like, he wasn't really reliable, he financially wasn't stable, he emotionally was not like stable. So like I wasn't able to really recognize these qualities in men when I would go out. And I'm not looking obviously for a man to be my dad, obviously, but there is a huge correlation between if he's going to be a great dad and if he's going to be a great husband. So that's kind of what I look for as well. And I think especially like being a single mom, like thinking about your daughter or your son, you really want a man who can be that, can really be your support system. And what does that mean? Well, it means being reliable. It means, does he have a stable job to be able to contribute to the household? It means if emotionally things are going on in your life, whether it has something to do with you and your child or family situation or whatever, like, is he gonna be there? Can you call him? Is he gonna be able to help you de-escalate the situation? Does a man have to be perfect? No, okay? He does not have to be your every single thing under the sun. You should have friends, you should have maybe a therapist, you should have all these outlets, but at the end of the day, it's like, listen, if this man that you're dating is not able to communicate and he's avoidant and he doesn't know what to do in situations, like that's gonna be really stressful for you as you grow up if you want to have children. And even if you don't, like, it's like you're gonna be with this person forever and you're only gonna get half of them, you know, like half-ass effort or the constant struggle, the uphill battle that it is to be with somebody who like can't really get their shit together, like I am not here for it. So I find, at least for me, and this is not with everyone because I know people who have like great parents and stuff who still struggle with like dating, but I just think, well, what did I not get in childhood? And you want to look for those qualities in a man, in like not a weird way, obviously, but that's what I've found. Okay, I'm just gonna do my eyebrows and eye makeup and do B-roll because I won't be able to talk and do it, like I already know. It's like hard for me to do that, so I'll just show you quickly what I'm doing and then I'll answer some more questions when I am done. So with my eyebrows, I like to use Anastasia Dip Brow with this like little like pointy brush for my eyebrows. I don't go too heavy on this. I used to go way too heavy. Literally way too heavy. Always go way less. And then I go in with some eyebrow gel. This is actually, well, it's actually not eyebrow gel, but I use it on my eyebrows. It's Eco Styler gel. I put that on and then I usually just like go in underneath my eyebrows and like put a little bit of foundation to really clean it up. Oh, there was foundation on that. And then I'm gonna use my NYX eyeliner, which is the iconic liner that I always use. Very cheap, affordable, and it works. A little bit of a wing. And I'm just gonna use Say Beauty mascara right now because I'm using it. It's pretty good, but I do really love the Charlotte Tilbury, Pillow Talk? Is it Pillow Talk? Yeah, mascara, but it's out. So I'm crying about that. And then we will continue. Also, I'm gonna listen to some Drake, but you guys will be hearing different music because it'll be copyrighted. But why is this song Circadian Rhythm giving like last year? Was it last year? I don't even know. Was it, or the year before? Yeah, no, it had to be last year. Last year when Search and Rescue came out, this is giving like Search and Rescue 2.0. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just loving some of the music that he's putting out lately. Anyways, let's get to it.
Satisfying you while I keep bleeding. I don't know why you act like you innocent. You wanna take a piece of my heart again. I'll get you up, cause I just don't know. Something in your eyes, the way you stare me that I like. I wanna let you go, but it's like something holds me tight. You might break my heart tonight, but I'm gonna hold it tight.
We are back. T-shirt is on because I'm getting cold. My eye makeup, I don't know if you can really see, but this is just what I do. And then after everything, I just put on a little bit of highlighter. And that's really it. That's all I do for my makeup. I am a simple bitch. Okay, so next question. When you feel you just don't connect with any guy, like I guess, what do you do or what's your advice? I think like, if you don't connect, you don't connect. Like, what's the point on forcing yourself or like beating yourself up? There are just gonna literally be people who you just don't connect with. But the only reason why I'm thinking like, I wonder if that's like a you issue, not like you're the real issue, but you're saying like no guy you connect with. Is it maybe like something to do with your attachment style that might be coming up? Or like, are you still hooked on someone else? Are you maybe just not ready? You definitely want to reflect on that. If you find like just no guy is gonna cut it, or like what's the standards, or what are you looking for? You kind of want to just like see if it's a continuous thing that like every guy feels like they're trash, or like every guy feels like there's no connection, or every guy feels like this, or every relationship is this. It is not to just obviously put the blame on you, but it is to see like there's a common denominator. There's something that is the same in every single situation. What is it specifically? So I would maybe like, I don't know, look a little bit deeper just to help you if you do find like every single guy. But in general, there are just gonna be people you don't connect with, and that's totally fine. Like please, don't force it. And there's another question actually. They said, someone being perfect on paper, but the feeling is missing, but I'm getting old. I understand that, but at the end of the day, it's like, are you really going to be with someone where you genuinely don't feel that? You don't feel whatever sort of connection that you're looking for the rest of your life just because you're getting old? And like, age is so just a number, and I understand it because I'm getting older too, and that. Like, I understand that that's a real thing, but like, you can't do yourself a disservice and settle just because you in your head are like, oh, I'm getting older. Like, so many things can change. Your life can completely change in less than a year. It can happen in 6 months. It can happen tomorrow. You never know, right? But like, for you to just stay in a relationship where it's like not what you know. I just feel like regardless, you're just gonna be in your head all the time. You're just gonna be thinking, what if? You're just gonna be thinking all these things. So I just like wouldn't ever force yourself to do things that you know deep down you don't want to do. I think that we do that a lot as women. And this is not to mean that like your relationships are gonna be like perfect, flawless all the time. There's going to be things that you bring into a relationship where maybe it is kind of like past trauma that's maybe getting in the way of you having a connection and stuff. But don't force yourself. You already know, like you actually already know not to force yourself. Okay, the next thing that I'm doing is putting on these press-on nails. I love these press-on nails from Impress Nails. And they're just like French tip ones, and they're no glue, so they just literally stick on. I usually wear the coffin ones, but I didn't have any, and these are kind of short, to be honest. Like if you have like pretty long nail beds, I would not suggest getting these, but they just fit if I cut all the way down, so I'm just gonna use them. Next question. I haven't had my first kiss, and I'm 25, feel like I'm so behind, and as time passes, the worse I feel. I understand that. I feel like in high school, I was like one of the only people who didn't really have much experience with boys, mainly because my dad instilled absolute fear within me when it comes to like talking to boys, which partly was like okay because I stayed away from them, but partly maybe not. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But a lot of my friends were dating, kissing, hooking up, losing their virginities very young. And like I feel like it's probably even more normalized now, but back then it was still pretty normalized. So I felt a pressure for sure. But you just have to think about how your timeline's just gonna be different than other people. Like no one timeline is the right timeline. Genuinely. Everyone goes at their own rate, their own pace. Everyone gets married at different ages. People have kids at different ages. So it's like the feeling that you're feeling is because you're comparing yourself to other people and where they're at. So we want to lessen that by understanding that it's really you versus you. It's your own journey. So if you're not ready or if you haven't had that experience, that's fine. And I understand like the, you know, like not having experience, and as you get older, it might feel a little bit more nerve-wracking to then, let's say, talk to a guy and then he wants to kiss you and you're afraid because you literally haven't kissed anyone before. But I feel like if that person really likes you, it's not like you have to like tell them that, oh my gosh, I haven't had a first kiss. But if that person really likes you, like you'll be able to figure it out with them. You will. And honestly, something that I will say, even when it comes to like sleeping with people and stuff, because I've had that question before, obviously never rush yourself. Like this is even beyond a first kiss. Like do not rush yourself. But I find that okay, yeah, experience can be helpful, but at the end of the day, every single person that you're gonna be with is gonna be different than the next person. So you're gonna have that learning phase of like, you know, what you guys both like and figuring things out in the bedroom or figuring things out in general. Your chemistry is gonna be different. Like, so it's not that experience isn't helpful, obviously, because it gives you like confidence, but at the end of the day, like when you're with someone new, at least I've found in my past relationships, like there's still always the nerve like racking feeling of like, oh, you know, I'm getting intimate with this person again, or like how's it gonna be, or I have to tell this person how I like things. And as you grow up and you evolve, you change and you learn what you like. So, you know, don't even think that like, oh, people who have experience, they just like know everything and they're so much better and like they probably have like the best like sex life or like, you know, intimate life. Like that's not necessarily true, because it is like you still having to learn that person. So just try not to beat yourself up about it, and understand that there might be that like weird awkward phase at the beginning, but that's everyone's like experience usually. Like whether you have a first kiss when you're really young or when you're older, like it's just like a new thing, which comes with the journey. Someone said, what is your love language and what's your opinion on breaks in relationships? I feel like when I stop being a people pleaser and stop accepting the bare minimum and realizing that I deserve a lot, I realize that most of love languages are ones that I actually deeply want. So, I mean, I think words of affirmation for sure, and acts of service in a sense of like having a man just be there if I need him, or like somebody who's willing to really show up for me in that sense is really big. But I feel like when I was younger, like if you asked me that question, it probably wouldn't be that, because like I never really got that, again, like from a father, or really was ever around a man who, you know, did the acts of service or did the words of affirmation or did the like the physical touch, things like that. So I wasn't really like asking for a lot of that, you know? So basically like all of them. I mean, obviously for me, I think like communication is really, really big, because it's like, I'm not trying to talk to a damn brick wall, but having conversation, whether it's like, you know, intimate, flirty, or just like regular conversation with a man, always feels good in my personal opinion. I think physical touch also is important, but honestly, like all of them, if I'm really being honest. And in terms of taking breaks in relationships, I mean, I don't know, everyone's relationship is different, so I really can't say like black or white, like, oh, you shouldn't do it or it's not needed. I mean, maybe it is, but I've never had to take really a break in a relationship. But if you feel you need one, then maybe that's what you need to do, and just try that out and see. But I would just say, if you're taking a break, then really take the time to figure out why you feel you need to take a break in the first place. Someone said, how to start dating confidently without previous dating experience or money. I'm interested in why you asked about the money aspect. I don't know if this is a guy or a girl. I mean, maybe if you think that you have to pay for the date or something like that. I think for a woman, and this is not everyone, like people are okay with 50-50, people are okay with like, I don't know, everyone's like, there's so many ways in which you can date now, but I mean, I think like the men that I'm with, like money doesn't need to be, like they're not like looking for me to have a lot of money, not in a sense of like, they don't care about me being successful. I would want to be with a man who wants to be with a successful person, or like be with a girl who does something with her life. Obviously that's really good, but I don't know, I find like most men don't really like, you know, show up to the date being like, how much money do you make? And like, you better be making a lot of money, because, you know, unless they're really wanting to do like that 50-50, or they're not comfortable with their own financial situation, and then you have to just discern whether that's something that you want to be in or not. And a lot of people that works, and a lot of people it's realistic, and yeah, so I don't know. But in terms of like not having previous dating experience, same thing with it when it comes to like my advice on the first kiss thing. Like, you got to start somewhere, so that's one. It doesn't need to be like nerve-wracking or too like scary. Like, just have fun with it, and try not to have like too many expectations when you're dating, because I feel like that's the thing that makes you so nervous. Is like, it has to work out, this person has to like me, I have to like them, it has to go a certain way, we have to have things to talk about, this, that, and it doesn't really need to be that deep. And just know also that when you start dating, you're gonna have more experience. Like, you're not ever going to feel the confidence of what experience gives you unless you actually try first. So just get out there and have a good time, don't have too many expectations. And also back yourself, like, remember who you are, you know? Someone said tips for balancing romantic relationships and a relationship with yourself. I actually have a podcast episode, I'll link down below. I have a second channel with a podcast, and I talk about how to have a relationship with yourself. So I would highly suggest watching that. So I won't say too much, other than, you know, when you are losing yourself, you know, when somebody's asking you to do a bunch of things and it's like outside of your schedule, and of course you need to like work with someone else's schedule, but at the end of the day, like, you're allowed to have your own needs and your own wants. And a lot of the reasons why we don't think that is because we think if we say what we actually want, then we will lose that person. But it's like, you can't be moving in a relationship where you're too afraid to say your needs and your wants, just because you feel like you're going to lose them, because then you will lose yourself, of course. And why would you want to even be with someone where you can't have your own needs met as well? And like, why don't you back yourself to know that like somebody would still want to be with you as you choose yourself? Like, it's really a reflection of how you look at yourself. If you feel like, you know, you can't have your own needs, and you can't like, you know, stay at home one night because you feel like, if I don't stay at home, then he's not gonna love me. Like, that's an internal belief system thing. And honestly, if somebody doesn't want to be with you because you are choosing yourself, then they're just not for you. Someone said, my boyfriend wants to do a vacation alone. How to not feel insecure about that? I think this depends, because I think it depends on your relationship and this man and how he's been treating you and showing up. Like, does he give you, you know, enough reassurance and stuff. Not to say like he needs to give you reassurance, but I mean, I don't know, like, does he have some of the traits that I was talking about in terms of a high value man? Like, I feel like when I'm with somebody who is consistent, communicating, showing up, just being persistent with me, it's very clear that he likes me. It's very clear that he wants to be with me. Like, if he wants to go on a vacation with his boys, for one, I think that that's healthy, but for two, like, I'm not really gonna be in my head about that because I know that he likes me. But it also really is, again, like an internal confidence thing. Like, why don't you back yourself? Why do you think that if he goes out of your sight that he would choose someone else, not you? And now maybe that has to do with the fact that maybe he's showing up a certain way, but at the end of the day, regardless, you still have that internal belief system of maybe thinking that you're not enough. So I would really reflect on that, and I would of course reflect on the relationship you have with him. Like, he might be like a toxic person, I don't know, right? I really don't know. It could be a guy who's like not texting you, or he'll go ghost a few times throughout your relationship in that sense. And if that's the case, then yeah, no wonder you are afraid that he's gonna go on a vacation, you know? But at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, like, the relationship you want to have that's going to last a long time is one where you can trust them. And you want, at least for me, actually, you know what, I'm just going to say this. At least for me, like, I want my man to have a life outside of me, because I think that that's healthy. Like, it's healthy for people to not be fully dependent on you. And I think it's good to not take breaks, that's the wrong word, but like have some distance in a relationship, because I also think that like you'll miss that person. But I also just think that it's nice to see someone doing their own thing. And I don't know, I'm somebody who like likes my alone time, but in general, I do think it's healthy to be with someone where you feel like they could have that vacation if they want. Now, if the man wants 10 vacations, and none of them include you, that's where, and personally for me, it would be an issue, because I'd be like, what, you know, obviously. But if it's like 1 or 2 vacations where he's going with their boys and it's a boys trip, whatever, go for it. But if it's like every single time he wants to do something when it comes with friends socially and you're not invited, and maybe there's other girls there and he's wanting to do all of them without you, like, obviously, like, that's weird, you know? So I hope that helped. My nails are on. We love a good French tip. I'm gonna put this all-nighter spray on as well. My hair is probably pretty much dry. I always have this headband on because I'm like making sure it's all gelled. And I'm actually gonna use my ponytail. I haven't used this in a while. This is from Luxy Hair. I talk about it all the time. I've had this for so long. And I like to wear this on sometimes like either like a date or I'm gonna be out, not out for a long time, but out, and I just don't want to be sensory overload. I was also thinking about that video that went viral from that, I forget what her name actually is, but the sprinkle girl, the Shira or whatever, I don't know. And that video when she was talking about how like men don't like women with curly hair and this bullshit. Dude, I get the lore of like sprinkle and stuff, but like we need to do better as women. Like, we need to seriously do better as women if this is the woman we're listening to, and like this is what she's spewing out to the community. And I kind of like understand what she was saying. Like, if you really break it down, like there's gonna be some areas in life where maybe you move around where it's not that they don't accept your hair, but maybe your hair is not like represented, this, that. But like the way she was saying it, like, to me, I just thought about this. If I had a daughter who had any sort of genes of mine, she's gonna have curly hair. How do you feel comfortable going online and saying that? That's as if you were saying that to your own daughter. Men don't like curly hair, so make sure that your hair is straight, bone straight, make sure it's like out of your face, this, that, and the third. I don't care if you wanna say that that's a nice option to do for your hair. Like, I'm literally slicking back my hair right now, but I'm not doing it because I think that going on a date with this man is gonna give me a better outcome because of how my hair is. Absolutely not. I actually think the reverse, to be honest. But the reason why I'm like also bringing that up is because like back in the day when I didn't love my hair and I was around people who didn't have the same hair as me, I kind of thought like that. And if I saw that message online, I would have fallen prey to what she was saying, and I would have kept not liking my hair. I would have kept, straightening my hair. And no shade to anyone who straightens their hair. No shade, I get it. literally I have black hair. It's hard work. It's literally a second job. And I'm also like doing things with my hair right now. But the reason why that made me so mad was because I just know that there are a lot of women who maybe are still struggling with accepting their natural hair and this, that, and they're gonna hear that, and that might deter them from ever even considering how to do their natural hair, or to maybe continue to look in the mirror and continue down the road of hating their hair. And I'm not saying black women in particular who straighten their hair hate their hair, but for me, that was what it was. I didn't like my hair. I thought that nobody would like it. I didn't know how to do it. I just felt like it was an inconvenience. I felt like I wouldn't be chosen if I had my hair out, blah, blah, and it's just not the case. But I had to go through that period of learning to love my hair and to be like, screw anyone who doesn't love my hair, this, that, and the third, to the point where in my reality now, every single person that I date, and I'm talking about dating because she was kind of using it in the context of men, obviously, they usually always prefer me having natural hair. And it's just like never my experience where I would be dating somebody or around people who were like, oh, like I prefer your hair like straight or something like that. Like it's a complete different world based off of how I started viewing myself. I had to accept myself. I had to love myself. I had to look at my hair like it's beautiful, it's loving, it's whatever. And then I started pouring that love and energy into my hair. It started growing so much. I literally have before and after photos I'll show you guys of how it was versus like how it is now. Like, that's somebody who's learned how to love their hair, okay? And I just hated seeing that message because I feel like it doesn't help. It just doesn't help. So anyway, please disregard it, honestly. And even if there's like any truth to that video, I still just don't think it was helpful. And I just think that, like, imagine if you had a daughter and she was online and she saw that and she has natural hair, like, why would you want to train your daughter to look at herself like, what I have as natural is not going to be enough for these people? And I understand that there's real things and there's real discriminations happening, but again, coming from somebody who was that and is no longer that anymore, that's not my reality. And it's not my reality because I'm showing up in a place of, this is how I accept myself, this is how I love myself, this is how my hair is, whatever, and that gets reflected back to me. And I feel like it's just really limiting to people who might already be struggling with accepting their natural hair and this, that. So anyways, let me quickly just put this in.
You might break my heart tonight, but I'm gonna hold it tight. Oh, it feels like yellow, yellow. It hurts like yellow, yellow, yellow. You have to let me go. Yellow, yellow. It hurts like yellow. We tried too many times. Ooh, you got me feeling cool. Ooh, you got me.
Okay, sorry, my camera died. Put in the hair piece, which looks stunning, just as my natural hair would look as well. But we are not doing the sensory overload today. Someone said, I'm scared to meet someone new because my ex was a walking red flag. How can I overcome my fear? You have to take it slow. Take it from me, girl. You gotta take it slow. You need to first realize like just how much you were accepting the bare minimum and be very clear with what it is that you want moving forward in your relationships, which will take time. But don't strip yourself away from somebody that could be really good for you just because you were with somebody who wasn't probably the best for you. I feel like you do know when you are rejecting something that is really healthy for you, and with that you just want to reflect versus just be like, oh, I can't be in a relationship because like this is too overwhelming. It's like, yes, it's overwhelming, but it's a good thing for you. So I would just work on that. I mean, maybe that means going back to therapy, girl. I don't really know. But take your time with things. And if it feels too much to really jump into the dating pool, like right after a relationship, then give yourself time. Like, I don't know. I'm somebody who can't really jump out of like one relationship right into the next. I feel like it's like, way too overwhelming. I have a disorganized attachment style, which I feel like I'm going to talk about in a podcast episode, but yeah, I mean, just take it slow. And I think what will protect you is being aware and honest with yourself about the red flags that you maybe missed and or ignored, and what you actually want moving forward. Like, be very clear. When you're very clear, you will find people who will align with that. And even if they don't, then it'll be easy for you to discern whether that person is for you or not. And I feel like sometimes we don't have that clarity when we start talking to someone, and then we kind of miss red flags or we ignore them because we weren't really clear with them, and then we've gotten to this bond with them, and then it's hard to leave them because you have feelings for them in some capacity. You probably have a connection with them, but it's like you weren't really that clear with how you want a man to show up in your life, so then you kind of like accepted a half-assed version of a man. Let's not do that next time. Just learn from your mistakes and move forward. So that's probably gonna be it for the advice. I got a dress from Aritzia, so I'm gonna put that on and I will show you guys. I think that's what I'm going to wear. I'm gonna put oil on my body because I feel like, you know, that just makes your skin look really good. And that's really all I'm gonna do. Okay, final look. These earrings are from, I don't know, I forget the name, but I will have them linked down below. This is from Pandora. This tennis bracelet, that's not actually a real tennis bracelet, is from Amazon actually, and it is so nice and it's so cheap. And this dress is from Wilfred, which is, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Wilfred, I don't know, okay? But what I do know is it's like a part of like the store that's like basically a sister store to Aritzia, so technically like it's Aritzia coded. I'm pretty sure I can find this and link it, but I freaking love this dress. I'm gonna have to bring it down a little bit, obviously. So it is like this. It fits so nice. And it is like not too short, but still not too long. And it just fits so nicely like around my top. I don't even need to wear a bra. And I love the color, obviously. This is what it looks like in the back. If you guys know, I'm wearing my Dolce Vita heels because I wear them with everything. And then I'm just gonna use my Coach bag. I took off my extender that I usually use because this is gold accents and I'm very cool tone. I have silver on everywhere. And I really don't need to be holding my bag like this really anyways, because we'll just be sitting down because we're going to dinner. So yeah, which I literally love this bag. I'll have it linked. I think it might be sold out, but they always have different colors and stuff. But I would love to get a different color. I freaking love Coach. Anyways, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what you want to see next. Any video ideas or topics. We can do another get ready with me. Just let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.